I am welcoming you all of them to chemistry of main group element course. Today I am going to compare non-aqueous solvent ammonia parallelly with isoelectronic molecule water. How does this two solvent will be differ in using as a reaction medium that we are going to see in this lecture. We all of them know that ammonia molecule is isoelectronic with water. Even though these two are isoelectronic to each other, both of them have both of them have some more similarities as well as some dissimilarities also will be observed between these two solvent molecules. I have given the physical properties of ammonia with water molecules. Let me see in these physical properties itself that we can see various kind of dissimilarities. First one, we can see the boiling point. The boiling point of ammonia is almost 100 degrees Celsius less than water molecules. This confirms that the ammonia molecule, liquid ammonia molecules have very less extensive hydrogen bonding between ammonia molecule in comparison with water molecules. This was further supported by delta H, enthalpy of vaporization value. Enthalpy of vaporization value for ammonia is 23.3 and 40.7 kilojoule per mole for water molecules. This one 23.3 kilojoule per mole for ammonia molecule and 40.7 for water molecules. So this further supports that ammonia has very less extensive hydrogen bonding in compared with the water molecules. The second one, we have to compare their relative permittivity value, or you can say instead of relative permittivity, we can call them as dielectric constant. The dielectric constant value for ammonia is very small in compared with the water molecules. This makes the difference of the solubility of inorganic salts. For example, because of very low dielectric constants of ammonia molecules, most of the inorganic salts are insoluble in ammonia. At the same time, most of the covalent compounds such as organic molecules are ready to soluble in ammonia. If we compare, I can compare just by with respect to the example of halides. For example, we can take sodium halides, various sodium halides. If you have taken sodium fluoride, sodium chloride, sodium bromide and sodium iodide. If you taken these four salts, all of them are highly soluble in water because of water has very high dielectric constant. But when we taken this compound in liquid ammonia, sodium fluoride has very least solubility. In liquid ammonia, most of the fluorides are insoluble in liquid ammonia. In case if we compare this one, sodium has very least solubility in compared with sodium chloride, and sodium chloride again has the least solubility in compared with sodium bromide, and sodium iodide has high solubility compared with sodium bromide. At the same time, exceptionally, some of the ammonium salt, nitrate, nitrite, thiocyanate, this kind of salts are soluble in ammonia. And another example I can give, if you have taken the molecule of silver iodide. It is another very interesting compound. The silver iodide molecule, we know that it is very partially soluble in water. At the same time, in case if you have taken liquid ammonia as a solvent, silver iodide, almost 250 gram of silver iodide is readily soluble in liquid ammonia, because liquid ammonia is a kind of soft base. Liquid ammonia is a kind of soft base, but water is a kind of hard base. So that makes the difference between the solubility of various salts. If you take it, because liquid ammonia is a soft base, so that can easily stabilize silver ion and iodide ion, because silver as well as iodide, both of them are soft to each other. So silver iodide can be stabilized in liquid ammonia. That's why it has very high solubility in compared with water. So water molecules, we know that most of the alkali metals can be stabilized by water molecules. So sodium, potassium, rubidium, such kind of salts can be stabilized by ion dipole interaction with water molecules. That's why most of the alkali metals are soluble in water, because it can behave as hard base. And because of this difference in solubility, some of the reactions also looking completely different with respect to each other. For example, I can give a more specific example of double replacement reaction, or you can say simply precipitation reactions. Double replacement reactions. If we have taken the double replacement reaction, means what does it mean? The two of the ions are replaced by other ions. It will be replaced, one will be replaced by other. We can take an example of, simplest example we can take, silver nitrate we can take, and then we can dissolve in barium chloride. This reaction is very common reaction, we all of them know. Barium nitrate plus silver chloride, which is precipitated. This reaction will happen in water. If we carry out this reaction in water, if we mix silver nitrate and barium chloride, barium nitrate is infiltrate, it is in water, and silver chloride is precipitated. So because silver chloride is sparingly soluble in water, and also because it will be kind of silver chloride, I already said that it's a kind of soft acid. Silver is a soft acid. So what happened? That can't be stabilized with water. But barium ion, it's some hard acid. So hard acid can be stabilized in water molecules. That's why barium nitrate is present in water's aqueous solution and silver chloride is precipitated. But it will be completely dissimilar, different when we carry out the reaction in liquid ammonia. Under liquid ammonia condition, silver chloride plus barium nitrate will give silver nitrate plus barium chloride. Barium chloride is now precipitated. So you can see that one. In this case, barium chloride, again the answer will be similar, that barium chloride, barium ion is a kind of hard acid that can't be stabilized by liquid ammonia. So what happened? That will be precipitated out. Also chloride ions. You can see that chloride is a kind of, most of the fluorides and chlorides are not soluble in liquid ammonia. That may be another reason that barium chloride is especially precipitated in compared with silver nitrate. Silver nitrate is soluble in water. So you can see that one, in first case the reaction silver chloride is precipitated, but in case of the second one barium chloride is precipitated, because this will be the different only with two different kind of solvents. Because here the solvent role is very important. The solvent can decide which molecule can be precipitated in these reactions. That will highly depend upon the solvent will be highly depend upon the relative permittivity value. If the relative permittivity value is coming down, then most of the ionic compounds will be insoluble in that solvent. For that reason only, under the condition of liquid ammonia, most of the halides, especially fluorides and chlorides are mostly not soluble. Exceptional will be silver chloride. Silver chloride will be soluble in silver nitrate, I mean especially when you come to silver nitrate, it's soluble in liquid ammonia because silver ion is stabilized by ammonia, and most of the nitrates also soluble in liquid ammonia. Okay, then I'm going to the next one, which is self-ionization reaction. Okay, you can write here self. Self-ionization reaction, or you can call them as auto-ionization reaction, because if you take a molecule of, what is the meaning of self-ionization or auto-ionization? You just take the molecule of water, which can undergo ionize themselves. It will be ionize themselves into H3O plus and hydroxide ion. Protonated water molecule and hydroxide can form. If we take the self-ionization constant value will be, we know that it's around 10 power minus 14. But when we come to ammonia molecule, it can also undergo a kind of the similar type of self-ionization reaction. I mean, ammonia can be undergo self-ionized into ammonium ion. One of the ammonia is getting protonated and another will be in the form of deprotonated. So it's a kind of acid and base, because water, if it's self-ionized, we know that it is giving H3O plus, acidic one and basic one. Similarly here, ammonia will be self-ionized into ammonium ion and amide ion. The interesting thing is, if you see in the self-ionization constant value here, it's very smaller in compared with the water molecules. So 5.1 into 10 power minus 27. It's almost like that of, it's going more towards back. It's going more towards the left hand side. Almost like that of negligible amount of ionized molecules. And when we see, because we can compare the ionic mobilities also. Because ionic mobilities, if you have taken, and the H3O plus and the hydroxide have very high ionic mobility that we know, because it will be more than alkali metal ions. But when we come to ammonia, the self-ionizing species such as ammonium ion and amide ion, these ionic mobilities are almost equivalent to alkali metal ions. This is another difference that can be seen with the molecule of water with respect to ammonia. Then I can go to the acid-base reactions in liquid ammonia. Acid-base reactions in liquid ammonia. Based on solvent-oriented acid-base definition, we can write any acid combined with base, it should give salt and the corresponding solvent. I mean, if I carry out the reaction in water, acid plus base should react to give salt and water. This definition will be more suitable for aqueous solutions. Similarly, if you are going to use liquid ammonia as a solvent, then in case of liquid ammonia having the acid part, if it reacts with another base part, it also should give salt, and then the solvent should be the corresponding, whatever the solvent we are using, the ammonia should be the solvent. In case of if we come to the ammonia system, the acid part is usually ammonium ion is considered as an acid, and the base one is the corresponding amide, NH2 minus. If these two reacts, will give, for example, I can say ammonium, more specifically ammonium chloride and potassium amide. Ammonium chloride, here the acidic part is ammonium ion, and potassium amide, the basic part is NH2 minus. If these two mixed together, it can give salt potassium chloride plus ammonia. Okay, how can we monitor this reaction? Simple acid-base reaction can be monitored by making use of conductometrically or potentiometrically, or we can use a colored indicator. That may be the option to monitor the reaction, because how do we know it will be completely neutralized? For example, if you added a drop of phenolphthalein indicator, when you added an excess of base, phenolphthalein will get deprotonated. It will change benzenite form to quinonide form. Then there is a formation of pink color. Similarly, in this case also, we can use phenolphthalein as an indicator to monitor the reaction. If in case ammonium potassium amide, if we added excess, just excess we added, then what happened? Amide is a strong base that can deprotonate phenolphthalein. It can convert benzenite form to quinonide form, and then there will be a formation of pink color. Then we can confirm that neutralization reaction completed. And another interesting thing is, if we are going to use ammonia as a solvent, most of them are leveled up. It's like a kind of leveling effect we can see in ammonia as a solvent. You can see that one, ammonia, if we dissolve in HCl, it can give ammonium chloride. Similarly, ammonia, if we react with acetic acid, in this case also we can there is a formation of ammonium ion and acetate ion. Normally we know that in aqueous solution, HCl is a strong acid and acetic acid is a weak acid. It will be not completely ionized in aqueous solution. But when we come to liquid ammonia as a solvent, in that case, acetic acid is completely ionized and there will be a complete formation of ammonium ion and acetate ion. This level, because the basic property, here the very important one is the basic property. Because of the basic property of ammonia, it levels that weak acid. Weak acid enhanced their acidic, significant amount of acidity was boosted up. Like HCl, we know that it's strong acid in aqueous solution, but acetic acid is a weak acid. But in case of ammonia, both HCl and acetic acid are strong acid, because the reason was it was because of the basic property of ammonia. It was leveling to enhance the acidity of each molecules. At the same time, ammonia can also react with base. Ammonia will never react with a weaker base such as hydride. Very weak base, it will never react, but it can react with a base such as lithium methanide. If it reacts with lithium methanide, and then what happens? It can form methane gas. Methane gas can form plus lithium amide can form. At the same time, ammonia has greater tendency to take up protons than donating proton. It can easily, it likes to take up protons. Water has both property. It can give proton as well as it can accept proton. But in case of ammonia, it has greater tendency to donate proton than accept. Ammonia has greater tendency to accept proton than donating ability. Donating ability of the proton in ammonia is lesser than accepting property. For example, ammonia, if we dissolve in acid, such as HSO3 minus, or you can say HSO4 minus. then what happened? Ammonium ion can form plus sulfate ion. At the same time, if you react ammonia with acetate ion CH3COO minus, then ammonium amide ion plus acetate, this will never happen. That means ammonia can take proton from HSO4 minus to form ammonium ion. It can accept proton to form ammonium ion, but ammonia with this kind of CH3COO minus, that means it's a very weak base. It will never react with such kind of weak base to form NH2 minus. If it has to move to deprotonation, it needs very strong base. Only then the ammonia can give proton, because compared to sulfuric acid, HSO4 minus is a weak acid compared with sulfuric acid, but it can give proton to ammonia. But in this case, acetate ion is weak acid again, because compare HSO4 minus and acetate ion. Even though if we compare these two, of course HSO4 minus is a stronger acid, but even though the acetate ion does not have the ability to take proton from the ammonia, because ammonia have the ability to always accept proton than donating ability. Because of this property, an anion such as C triple bond C 2 minus triphenyl germanide and organophosphorus compound. These compounds are very sensitive compounds in aqueous solution. If we dissolve this compound in water, it can be easily undergo hydrolysis, because this species are not stable in aqueous solution, but this compound can be easily assessed in liquid ammonia, because these are very weak bases compared with ammonia, so it does not have the ability to take out the proton from the NH3. So what happened? This species exists as such in liquid ammonia. So in case if we have to generate this kind of species in ammonia, then we can use liquid ammonia as a solvent to prepare this species in that reaction medium. For the preparation of this species, we can't use water as a solvent, because if you use water as a solvent to generate this ion, it will undergo easily hydrolysis. So better for generation of this kind of weak base, the better solvent will be liquid ammonia. The next one is, in case if you are coming to the liquid ammonia system, that if we have to get the acid part, normally any kind of ammonium ion, if we dissolve in liquid ammonia, we can get the acid part. That if we react with reagents such as magnesium silicide, if we react this one with the ammonium ion, ammonium salt, if we dissolve in liquid ammonia, that one if we reacted, it can give magnesium ion plus silane plus ammonia. That means it's a kind of replacement of weaker acid by stronger one. One of the weak acid in this portion is replaced by stronger one. That means it's donating proton to this one, this molecule, to get the formation of silane, and the magnesium ion is coming out. So such kind of reaction can be carried out using ammonium salt in liquid ammonia, like sodium arsenide. If we react this one also in ammonium ion, then what happen? Arsine will form plus sodium ion plus ammonium ion. sodium and ammonia. Okay. Then next one is in water. If you are going to use water as a solvent, then we can precipitate the compound. We can precipitate the compound in the form of hydroxides or oxides. Similarly, if you are going to use a liquid ammonia as a solvent, in that case also we can precipitate the corresponding molecule as amide or imide or nitride. Whatever we are seeing in aqueous systems such as hydroxide or oxide, parallelly we can also observe, because hydroxide and oxides are, most of them are insoluble in water, that we know. Similarly, in this case also, most of the amide, the corresponding base, water base will be oxide and hydroxide. Similarly, ammonia molecule having the species which have basic property, one is amide, imide and nitride. Such kind of molecules also have less solubility product, so it will be mostly not soluble in that solvent. For example, silver ion, if we react with amide NH2 minus, then it can easily form silver amide, which is insoluble in liquid ammonia. It will be precipitated. Similarly, in case of if we dissolve mercuric ion in again amide, again what happened? There is a formation of mercuric nitride Hg3N2 plus 4 ammonia. So most of the cases, if we have to, because in this case mercuric case is exceptional. Here there is a formation of nitride more directly. But most of the cases, if we have to get nitride, the corresponding amide have to be taken to higher temperature. Amide will be slowly converted to imide, and then imide again, if we undergo like that of heating to higher temperature, it undergo further decomposition to form a nitride. So this can be prepared from the conversion of amide to imide, imide to nitride, whatever we have normally seen in aqueous systems such as hydroxide to oxide conversion. Similarly, that can be happen even in amide, imide and nitride also. It's parallel. It's the parallel reaction between water and ammonia system. And the next one is, we know that one zinc ion, if we react with base, for example hydroxide, which can form zinc hydroxide. If I am using two equivalents, then zinc hydroxide will be formed, which is insoluble in water, it will be precipitated. And also we know that zinc hydroxide has amphoteric in nature. Amphoteric means it can react both with acid as well as base. Similarly, in case of, for example, if I am reacting with proton, acid, zinc ion will come out. Zinc ion with 6 water molecules will be there. But when we react this one with base such as hydroxide ion, it can be soluble. This insoluble solid, insoluble precipitate gets solubilized to form a coordination complex, zinc tetrahydroxide. Okay. So similarly, if you have taken zinc with the corresponding base part of ammonia, that is amide, in this case also there is a formation of zinc amide. Again, zinc amide is insoluble in liquid ammonia, which on reacting with the excess of amide, in this case also parallel, whatever we have seen in the aqueous system. Similarly, yes, soluble solution, because this is getting solubilized by adding the excess of amide to form a coordination complex, like that of whatever we have seen in hydroxide system. It's soluble. It's a soluble coordination complex. So again, it is a parallel reaction between the ammonia and water as a reaction medium. And then next one is complex formation. When we come to complex formation, both of them can parallelly form a complex. For example, any kind of sodium ion, if we dissolve in water, we know that it can form a complex of sodium H2O 6 plus. Sodium ion was surrounded by 6 water molecules to form an octahedral geometry. The sodium ion was stabilized by water molecules through ion dipole interactions. Similarly, like that of we can go with ammonia. Ammonia case, if you have taken means we have variety of examples. That ammonia, for example, if you dissolve in calcium chloride, that can react with ammonia to form calcium hexamine chloride. So whatever we have seen with the sodium ion, similar type of reaction happening with the calcium ion also. That's why for the purpose of drying ammonia, we should not use calcium chloride as a drying agent, because if you use the calcium chloride as drying agent for drying ammonia, then what happens? This coordination complex will form. So what happened? It can't act as drying agent for ammonia molecules. And exceptional, like these two are almost like the parallel reaction, but we can see some of the exceptional reaction also with ammonia because of the basicity, because of the strong basicity of ammonia in compared with the water as a base. What happened? Some of the unexceptional reactions also can be seen. For example, we know this complex these species are not stable in water because it can be readily oxidized in aqueous solution. It's not stable in aqueous solution. Vanadium 2 plus is not stable in aqueous solution. But it can be, vanadium 2 plus can be readily synthesized in ammonia as a solvent. For example, vanadium iodide, if you react with ammonia, 6 molecules of ammonia, it can form hexaamine vanadium 2 complex. It is under liquid ammonia condition, this complex is stable. Similarly, if another very interesting reaction is when we react hexa-aqua copper complex. Hexa-aqua copper means like the copper was surrounded by 6 water molecules. It has the octahedral geometry. If we react with the ammonia, it can go to the square planar complex. Tetraamine copper 2 complex will form. But never, you can't get such kind of a hexaamine copper. Hexaamine copper can't get in aqueous solution. This can't be because it can't be isolated in aqueous solution. But this compound can be isolated in liquid ammonia as a solvent. For example, copper 2 plus, if you react with the 6 ammonia molecules, you can readily get hexaamine copper complex. This reaction can happen in liquid ammonia medium only. You can isolate it, but in case of water, if you are going to use aqueous medium and then you are going to add excess of ammonia, this species will be never isolated in aqueous medium. This is again like there are some of the parallel reaction, I mean similar type of reactions and dissimilar reactions that we can see if we are going to use ammonia as a solvent in compared with water. Then next one is redox reaction. Based on reduction potential value of liquid ammonia. For example, when we are comparing water system, we know the reduction potential, everything will be based on water to oxygen conversion like that of proton to. Based on that value, we can find out whether the species can be stable in that medium or not. Similarly, if we compare the reduction potential value for ammonia to nitrogen conversion, that value is not very suitable for that value suggests that liquid ammonia is not yet suitable for carrying out a redox reaction in liquid ammonia medium. So what happened, because this is, even though the reaction is inhibited within liquid ammonia medium, that can be, the liquid ammonia medium can be used for highly oxidizing species and highly reducing species can be generated, can be prepared in liquid ammonia medium. For example, we know that complex, it has the strong nickel compound. Nickel, I can put general, like that of metal 0 with CN4, 4 minus. If metal is equal to nickel, palladium, platinum. So if we take this complex, this one we know that what happened, it can be used as a reducing agent. It can be used as a reducing agent. It's a strong reducing agent for such kind of systems, water can be used as a solvent. But for this kind of reagent generation, we can use liquid ammonia as a reaction medium. And also, like that of another reagent I have, that is CO2, cobalt complex. Cobalt complex, I think it's cyanide. Yes, cyanide. And 4 minus. 4 minus, no, sorry, 8 minus. Again, this reagent also, what happened, cobalt having oxidation state is 0. This one, again what happened, it is a strong reducing agent. Such kind of strong reducing agent can be generated by making use of liquid ammonia as a reaction medium. And the strong oxidizing species such as O2 minus, having superoxide, and O3 minus, such kind of molecules, like there are strong oxidizing species, it can be readily accept electrons. So such kind of species can be generated by making use of liquid ammonia. Okay. Then the last one is solvolysis reaction. It's a kind of hydrolysis reaction. Because usually if you have taken the halogen, chlorine, if you react with sodium hydroxide in aqueous solution, we can get hypochlorite. Sodium hypochlorite can form. Sodium hypochlorite can form plus, sorry, not sodium hydroxide. We can compare with directly with water also. That will be more direct. Instead of going with sodium hydroxide, comparison with water will be more direct. So water, if you compare with water, what happened? Hypochlorous acid can form plus H3O plus Cl minus. Similarly, such kind of reaction can happen. For example, in this case, chlorine molecule was disproportionated. It is a kind of disproportionation reaction. Chlorine will be converted to +1 and a -1. Both species was generated in this reaction medium. Similarly, such kind of reaction can be seen with ammonia also. Chlorine, if you react with ammonia, you can get chloramine NH2Cl plus ammonium chloride. So in this case, actually what happened, because chloramine, we have to know about chloramine is a kind of very strong sensitive compound actually. NH2Cl is actually if we are going, because if you have to synthesize chloramine, we have to use nitrogen gas. Nitrogen gas and ammonia gas would be in the, I think nitrogen and chlorine gas, this would be in the ratio of around 6:1. I think because more amount of nitrogen should be used. Only then chloramine can form. If we didn't maintain this pressure of ammonia versus pressure of nitrogen versus chlorine, then what happened? Chloramine will never form. Chloramine will be further decomposed into nitrogen plus ammonium chloride. So it's a kind of, again, disproportionate reaction happened between chlorine with ammonia molecules. Okay. And because of the basic property of ammonia, because of ammonia is more basic compared with water, what happened? It can sulfur can react with ammonia to form sulfur nitrogen compound S4N minus plus hexasulfide and then ammonium nitrate. The structure of S4N minus is S double bond S double bond N S minus. It's a kind of sulfur nitrogen compound. And the hexasulfide dianion, that one we know, that one S6 minus is always equilibrium with 2 moles of S3 minus. So S3 minus, we know that this one actually responsible for blue color in it's a paramagnetic species, and this is the responsibility for generation of blue color in ultramarine blue. In silicates, actually what happened, we studied this species. So the such kind of species are generating here also. Okay. So I think now I am coming to the conclusion part of this lecture. In this lecture, we have compared the chemistry of water with respect to ammonia as a solvent in reaction medium. In most of the cases, we have observed that reaction happened with the water almost parallel with the ammonia. But because of the difference in dielectric constant as well as basicity of ammonia, some of the reactions are completely different in compared with water molecules. Especially when we have taken dielectric constant, the dielectric constant for ammonia is very small in compared with water. So because of low dielectric constant in ammonia, most of the inorganic salts, I mean especially fluorides and chlorides, are not soluble in ammonia, but the silver salts are highly soluble in ammonia. For that reaction, there we have seen some of the dissimilar reaction when we are changing the solvent from ammonia to water. And the next one also we have observed that because of the basic property of ammonia levels, I mean the leveling effect, we have seen that one, even since the weak acid such as acetic acid can enhance their acidic properties, that we have observed. Acetic acid is a weak acid in aqueous solution, but when we are using ammonia as a solvent, in that case acetic acid behaves as a very weak acid. Sorry, if we are going to use ammonia as a reaction medium, acetic acid behaves as a very strong acid. It is completely ionized. There is a formation of complete ionized products such as acetate ion that we have seen and that we have already discussed in this lecture. Again, the reference for this topic is inorganic chemistry and inorganic chemistry book. Holman, Weinberg. Author name is Holman Weinberg, and then it is a 34th edition. Just please refer this book for getting more knowledge about liquid ammonia as a reaction medium. Thank you very much. Thanks for all of them participating in this lecture.